Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva boxing match last night. A lot of people, talking about, it's a shit show of a boxing match. I thought that this is the toughest opponent that Jake Paul would have faced so far.
100%, but at the same time, Anderson's 50 years old. So it's weird because if you want to hate on him, you say he's not a boxer. Anderson's not a boxer. He's 50 years old. It's another retired MMA fighter. All this stuff, right? But if you want to give him credit, is that GSP? The hell?
Yeah, GSP was in the back too. He was.
Okay.
You talk about thirsty, man. Like there's this one post-fight press conference where Anderson gets in like a Spider-Man stance. Jake gets in a Spider-Man stance for the face-off, and then GSP in the background gets in the Spider-Man stance to be in the picture still. And I was like, "What are you doing?"
Hey, he deserves it. He earned it.
Get out of
But
here.
so yeah, if you want to talk shit about Jake, you say he's 50 years old. He's not a boxer. He's a retired MMA fighter. Fight a boxer. Fight a boxer. Fight a boxer. But at the same time, if you want to give credit to Jake Paul, he's had 4 professional fights. This was his 5th professional boxing fight.
I believe it's 6.
Show me any boxer, any professional boxer that's current right now that fought someone this good, regardless of if he was an MMA fighter, regardless of if he was 50. Show me anybody who fought someone this talented for their 5th fight in boxing.
Yep.
Because we all know boxing. If anybody that has a name right now in boxing, before they fought someone good, they probably had like 20 fights under their belt. So you have to give him some kind of credit, right? But at the end of the day, he also is a 50-year-old retired MMA fighter.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't put too much stock in it, but he does look okay.
I've said this over and over again, though, and I agree with you 100%. So the career that I remember the most following, the career that I remember the
George
first,
says Lomachenko. I didn't watch the Lomachenko fight. I don't even know if he won or not.
the thing I remember the most following like a fighter was Miguel Cotto.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that's when I was that's when I was in my prime, Will, and
boxing watching.
Yeah, prime boxing watching. And I remember watching Cotto from the time that he was like 5-0, moving his way up. I was watching HBO boxing matches, and he'd be on the undercards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him fighting, I guess, fighters who you'd consider cans, right? Dudes that are like 19 and 20.
It's normal.
Yeah. And again, this is Miguel Cotto we're talking about. He's considered one of the best fighters in boxing that we've seen, right, in our generation. And nobody said anything. That was normal.
It's normal.
It's normal. But Jake Paul, with the amount of attention that he's getting, and everybody's saying, well, fight a real boxer. Guess what? He tried.
True. He did. And shout out to George. He's saying he meant Loma. He fought tough guys within his first couple fights. And he did. But also, like George says, but you can argue he had ample amateur experience. Before Loma went pro, he had a career as an amateur boxer. But you do have to give Loma credit for that, because he did kind of go straight to the wolves when he started his professional career. But he's an outlier. That's not the standard.
He's an absolute outlier. I was going to say, how many fighters do we know like Lomachenko? He's one of a kind. So again, Jake Paul is following the path that a lot of other boxers have followed. Yes, he's getting more attention.
It's just he gets the spotlight. That's the only difference.
Spotlight, and he gets paid more than a lot of these other boxers, which a lot of people hate on.
And he got Anderson paid, so I give him credit for that.
Yeah, and he's getting other fighters paid too, more than they usually get paid. Look, at the end of the day, Paul gets on my freaking nerves.
Yeah,
something about the guy.
Is there something about him?
Something about him just makes me want to put one right in the suckle,
Yeah.
But
right in his suckle, Jesus.
but I gotta give the guy credit, and I gotta give the guy some respect for what he's doing. He's drawing more attention to fighter pay. And people are like, oh, well, he's getting more attention for himself while he's doing that. Yeah, maybe. But you know what? He's also drawing more attention towards fighter pay. He's also drawing more attention towards a fighter union and towards fighters having some type of health benefits after. Like, he's drawing attention to the things that are important in fighting right now that fighters aren't getting.
Yeah, and I don't know. This fight, outside of the knockdown in the last round, it seemed like this fight, it kind of just went for, George says he's easily got one of the most punchable faces. 100%.
Absolutely.
But, and Bruce Bobtrotter says, how will Jake and Anderson do anything Bjorn Revney and all those other assholes weren't able to do with last union? Riddle me that, bitch. At the end of the day, there will be no fighters union. It won't happen. Because fighters anytime there's a hint of a union, the UFC or whoever it is starts offering a fighter something a little bit more, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll turn my back on that because that's probably not going to work, and this is real right now for me."
And the thing that we need for a fighters union to take off is we're gonna need Volkanovski. We're gonna
Yeah, the
need
stars.
Stylebender. We're gonna need, Ngannou. We're gonna
Well,
need all the
but
big names to step up and say, hey, we're gonna join in this fighter union. It's gonna happen, but they're the ones that get paid the most.
yeah, and remember the last time there was a high profile guy, not top talent, but high profile guy who was talking about this. It was Masvidal, who was very outspoken about it. And then they're like, "Hey, do you want a title shot that you don't deserve?" And he was like, "Never mind about all that fucking union shit. I'll take this title shot."
Wait, does that come with pay-per-view points? Okay, we good.
Yeah, Bruce Bobtrotter says, but there were scabs in baseball too before a union really worked. It is possible to work. Yeah, it's just going to be really tough. Baseball is
Yeah,
very different though because obviously it's a team sport,
but it's
but
got to start somewhere.
it
And
does have to start
maybe
somewhere.
maybe Anderson not having ties with the UFC anymore. Maybe Jake not having ties with the UFC. Maybe this is what gets the ball rolling. Who knows? Who
Yeah,
knows?
who knows? Probably not, but at least people are talking about it. But yeah, this kind of seemed like a sparring match. If anything, outside of the knockdown, it seemed like Anderson more lost this fight with inactivity than Jake did win the fight.
I didn't understand
Um,
the second and seventh round. I don't know why you took those rounds off, or
I
the
mean,
first. I'm sorry,
he's
first and seventh.
I mean, the first I understand because he's going to make the reads on Jake because he's a counter striker. The
He
seventh,
threw
I
one
mean,
punch.
yeah, but he's got to make the reads. But also, he's 50, so he was probably tired. You know what I mean?
True.
He's 50 fucking years old.
And look, again, I want to give Jake some credit. As much as I hate doing it, his footwork looked improved.
It
Okay,
looked
his
improved.
his head movement looked improved. His work off the ropes defensively looked improved. And I'm not sitting here saying he's going to beat Canelo. He's going to beat this person. He's going to beat that person. No, I'm saying that for his fifth or sixth fight, whatever it was, that you continue seeing improvement time in and time out every single time he goes in there. Okay, he's fighting better fighters than cans in Anderson Silva. And who knows where this goes? We'll see.
You,
Is it
you want to know the
entertaining?
sad truth?
It's very entertaining.
Is it entertaining? I
I
watched
thought it
the
was
fight.
super entertaining.
You
I
liked
thought it
the
was
fight?
entertaining.
You thought it was a good fight.
I think everything leading up to, the
Okay.
drama
But the
behind
fight
it,
itself?
the fight itself, I think that we saw improvements out of that. That was my biggest takeaway. That you know
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
my biggest takeaway is that I see, like, Jake talks about putting in the work. He says, I'm obsessed with this. I work out every single day. And my takeaway is that I believe it. I
Well,
do,
yeah. I
man.
mean, obviously, he's got so much money in the bank that he can just. I mean, he can hire the best trainers and just fucking do nothing but this. George says, "Killing me, bro."
Just killing me,
Hey,
bro.
George, how about this? How about this? I'll say what probably nobody wants to admit, but I'm sure everybody has thought of it. They're setting up the Nate fight, Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul in
100%.
boxing, and guess what? Uh, Jake is going to beat him, and it breaks my heart. And I hope it doesn't happen. I hope the fight doesn't happen because Nate is not going to win that fight.
But he'll
Uh,
get paid.
he'll get paid, but it sucks because I don't know. If that fight happens, expect Nate to get absolutely rocked,
Look,
and it's a
and
bummer.
George says you're killing me. Even Rich, the casual in the background, saying me too, dude. Look, I get it, but I'm not saying I'm happy saying this. I'm not saying that I'm a Jake Paul fan. I'm not saying any of this. I'm saying I'm giving respect where respect's due, man.
Yeah.
The guy's put in the work. I've seen improvement time in, time out. That's it.
Yeah, George says Jake versus Nate has no business happening except the business is the money, so it does. Bruce Bobtrotter says Nate is little compared to Jake. Aren't weight classes relevant here? No, they are not. Judging by Jake's last few fights, weight does not matter because this is celebrity boxing, and it doesn't matter. The weight doesn't matter. It
Even
doesn't
if they
matter.
do some type of weight at 182, which Jake can make, Nate cuts down a little bit, right to 170. They'll figure out a way.
Dude, no, this is what's going to happen. The weight class will not matter. The weigh-ins will be a sham, and Nate is going to show up out of shape, and Jake's going to be juiced to the tits, and he will land that overhand right because Nate is also 50 fucking years old and has always been very, very, very hittable. He will get hit and he will get clocked. Jake has probably 30 pounds on him. Weight classes matter in the fight, but in this context, they do not matter. as far as the fight getting made or not getting made. It does not matter. And they're hyping up the fight. They've been hyping it up a bunch. I hope Nate is just using this hype to like elevate his exposure, and then the fight never happens. But I don't know. I hope it doesn't happen because it's not going to be fun to watch.
Hey everybody, Ramiro and Will here. Thank you so much for watching that short clip. It's just a small clip of what we covered this last Sunday.
Yeah, if you want to check out the full fight card recap, the link is in the description, and it's going to be on screen at the end here. Don't forget to go back and watch our fighter interviews that we have. And don't forget to tune in live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, and you can join in on the fun.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It goes a long way. All right, everybody, thanks for watching that short clip from Story of the Fight.